1 second, Deej.
Yep.
DJ, try talking now.
Can you hear me now?
Or what we do, it's out to computer gurus in the department.
DJ still there?
I'm still here, yep.
I'm trying to put you on the overhead speakers. Try it again.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Got us, DJ?
I've got you whenever you're ready.
Okay, you're all set, Nico? Yeah. All set to go.
Okay.
All set?
All
Yep.
set.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the Board of Fire Commissioners meeting to order on October 13th, Thursday, 2022. We all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Like to take this moment for all of us to bow our heads and think about the families, friends, co-workers to our 2 hero first responders that perished this morning in a senseless tragedy in Bristol. Let us keep their families and everybody in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Amen.
Attendance is going around. Approval of the meeting minutes for September 8th, 2022. I have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
I will second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, just before public participation, just want to make a statement here. You guys, we love having you guys come. You're all welcome to say your piece. But we're gonna follow what the town does, and we will respond to any of your comments or whatever after, if the commission so fits to sees like we want to.
So in other words, if you have something to say it during public participation.
Right. So we're gonna try to professionalize this meeting up a little bit and not have a lot of here and there and all over the place. So with that said, for the first time, public participation, anybody like to say anything? Or DJ, is there anyone on Zoom that would like to say anything?
There is one attendee on Zoom, but the hand is not raised.
Okay. Yes, sir. Mr. Nadeau from Company 4.
Yes, I'd like to find out more about what's going on with the replacement of Station 4. It seems like we've been working on this for over 20 years. Well, it all started when Duke Pulaski was chief, that they started discussing the replacement of Station 4. And here it is, 2022, and not much has been done. I feel that the best location for it would be the lower end of Seymour Park, the baseball field that's only used by New Britain people to walk their dogs. And it's never used as a baseball diamond, never used as a soccer field or nothing. And that would be the best location for the new Station 4. Because we're replacing engine 2 now, and the next engine in for a spare piece is gonna be what, engine 5? Engine 5 will not fit in Station 4. Engine 5 will not fit in Station 5. So we need to do something.
Thank you, Gary. Anybody else for public participation? Okay, moving on. Communications.
Monthly reports. I have reports from Chief Trommer on all of the incidents that have taken place in the month of September. I have reports from Deputy Chief Craig Stegmeyer, and I would like to congratulate the recent officer appointments for company number 1, Captain Eric Lundeen, First Lieutenant Kurt Roseman, Second Lieutenant Mark Fox. Company number 2, First Lieutenant Jeff Anderson, Second Lieutenant Todd Ackerley. Gentlemen, congratulations, job well done.
Thank you. Thank you for stepping up.
I also have a report from Chief Stegmeyer on the fire prevention activities and listing of all of the locations that the department will be going to. I have Fire Marshal DJ Zoran's report for the September month. And that's basically about it. Oh,
Okay.
one more, I'm sorry. Chief Regina, I just have one question in your report that you submitted, and I was very much interested under plans, is that we are developing a certification program now for the training tower burn room. Is that correct?
That's correct. SOPs been written, all of the temperatures are documented. And that has been distributed to Weathersfield Borough and the property. It is part of the plan is to actually, before anybody uses the burner, so they have full understanding of the thermometers that are built into the tower, how to use them, so they can monitor them.
Okay, if I remember correctly, listening to some of the discussions back and forth, when these other departments, even though they have their own trained instructors, will we have our own personnel on site when any of these departments are going to be using the tower when we're talking about a live burn?
The task force comes because they are familiar with the use of the tower.
Okay,
But any outside agency or other, fire service
Other
organization,
other,
like Middlesex, will be required to go through that. And
Okay.
We will, and we did that day, by the way, too. Yeah, 3 of us were there.
okay, okay, perfect,
Thank you.
perfect. Thank you very much.
At all your communications.
Hold on. Anybody have any, actually, we're all done because I have the rest of the drill schedule for the rest of the year through the end of November. So we're good. No other reports.
Thank you.
Motion to approve communications as presented.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Ledger status, Commissioner Stoddard.
I reviewed the ledger status and I think we're in good shape for right now, being just a couple months into the new year.
Correct. Okay, motion to approve the ledger status.
So move.
second,
All in favor?
aye.
All right. Old business, radio system update. We can touch on that a little bit. After last month's meeting, we did have a meeting with the town manager, and I can give you a little bit of insight on what we discussed with the town manager. The meeting went very, very well. The radio system package is being presented to the town council for the November town council meeting for them to do what they have to do on their end. So it is at the half-yard line, like he said, and it's ready to get kicked in to the end zone. So,
Can I update on that?
yes, sir.
I talked to the new and the old town manager this afternoon,
Yes.
and the state has revoked all licensing for the state system. Not only ours, but all of them, everybody, because there's something legally wrong with the language that was used in the licensing process. So this is a setback. We don't know how long it'll take for them to correct the language. And as soon as they get the language corrected, then it'll go to the
Then we can
town
move
council.
forward.
Then, right. It has nothing to do with us. It has to do across the state.
Okay. Well, thank you, Commissioner.
So commissioners, just so that, on that note, the state of Connecticut is reviewing all the contracts for everything that they have in the state of Connecticut right now. They have a new legal department, and the attorney general has to know what the holdup is, as soon as they forward it. So that's what it's about.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. So it's kind of like, this seems to be like a house cleaning type thing that the state's doing on all their contracts?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. So that's what we have for you guys at this point on the radio system. Truck 2, Jack, would you like to tackle that one? You can do engine 2 also.
Okay. Truck 2's in production. It's expected to be delivered early December if all goes well. There's been some distribution delays and a couple of issues with, we had to make a couple changes because equipment couldn't get purchased and the companies that were supplying went out of business. But it may end up, there's at least, it was one example would be like the mirrors that were spec'd out, the original spec. It's gonna end up with like a small credit, but it's the same mirrors that were spec'd out on the new engine 2 that we just did. So every Friday, Firematic posts pictures and an update on their website. Although this past Friday, there was no progress, so there was no new pictures. So usually Friday night, Saturday morning, the new pictures of the truck will be on the website as to progress. Joe has been collecting the pictures and he's making a kind of a collage that'll be put out when the truck's all done. All the equipment for truck 2 has been ordered and it's trickling in a little at a time. As far as engine 2, it's been issued a job number by Pierce and everything's all set. The HGAC paperwork has been submitted, it's filled out, it's corrected. We'll see that in 2 years.
Jack, just one thing before I forget. With engine 2 being out a couple years, do you want to leave that under old business or can we take that off for now since it is a couple years out and not much is going to get done for a while? Or do you want to keep it under old business on the agenda,
Keep it under old business for now.
just in case something?
Just, yeah.
Okay.
I think we'll have to have further discussion on that coming up.
Okay, that's fine.
One other thing while I'm talking and about vehicles, the fire marshal's F-150 Ford was delivered today.
No kidding.
It just showed up. And they dropped the keys to paperwork and the salesman took off like a bat out of hell.
There you go, DJ.
There's a couple things that the truck came in, everything is correct except for a few things. And we're gonna hash that out with the dealer. The other thing is the cap is still on order and the tray for the bed. So that's not due till December. We couldn't place the order for the cap and the bed until we definitely confirmed what kind of truck we were getting, and what year.
Which brand
So
or,
what was going on, so, and really, there has been no communication from the dealer, that we ordered it from. I looked at the paperwork today, we ordered it last year, October 21st. So
Wow.
that's how long it's been. The other thing is, you're probably looking to get the thing on the road January, February. It could be sooner, but I'm gonna give you at least, don't plan on having it to be used until January, February. Once everything's done, the bed gets put together, the tray, the vehicle's outfitted, striped, and all ready for the road.
now, monies for that is all set, Jack, going forward for everything? Are we good with that or?
That's gonna be something that Hermes and the vehicle replacement and finance are gonna have to hash out. If it is more expensive, we were on track last year, but being it's behind a
Schedule.
year, it's, the prices of everything goes up
Right.
weekly, monthly. The
Daily.
prices are going
Yeah.
up. It's absolutely ridiculous. And availability for stuff is another thing. I have lighting equipment in for it, but because one of the examples is, it was promised to come in with a half a steel console, police console. And I had in-depth discussion with the salesman about it. Well, it showed up today with a regular vehicle console, but he's claiming it's a police console. Well, it's not a police console, and I can put a radio in, so it's not the console. So all the other accessories that were ordered, we have, but we don't have the console. So that's, depending on availability, it could be a couple months before we get the right console. So that's why I'm saying everything's gonna be pushed out January, February for good. So.
Great,
that's where
thank
we're
you. That's excellent. Well, and it was funny because we were just talking about it a couple weeks ago and
at. I actually just went to Hermes today and said, hey, we got a commissioner's meeting tonight. Can you, what's going on with the truck? Was it just showing up?
that's pretty funny. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's been a long time needed, so excellent. Chief LaPierre, grant updates.
We're still waiting. Sonia checked in with the higher ups, and they're still distributing grants, and we won't know if we we don't know anything until we get a rejection letter, which we haven't gotten a rejection letter yet. So there's still, because there was delays with the process and the whatever snafus they had on their end, everything got started late, so it's going longer than usually by October 1st, all the
Right.
grants are awarded, and that's not the case this year. So, and she is working on checking on some grants for a drone, because that was the chief and DJ had some interest in that, so I asked her to look into that. So we haven't heard anything negative yet, so I guess all we can do is think positive on it.
Good.
So no news is good news.
Well, let's hope.
I check that every week, see what the grants are. And the last time they awarded was the 28th of September. So,
Yeah, so see, they're a couple weeks behind still.
yeah, they're a little bit behind, but there was a few good towns in Connecticut that got grants. So keep our fingers crossed. Thank you, Chief. The rules and regulations, the reason why we haven't, we're going to keep that under old business. The reason why we haven't adopted that yet, and I just want to say and I know I said it before, but the committee worked very, very hard on it. I know you guys did. We're just waiting for the final piece to come in through Chief Stegmeyer for the updated PMP. You were on the committee, I think, correct?
Yeah, we haven't started on that.
And it hasn't started on that. So, we were looking at approving half the package and then approving the other. And our thoughts between the three of us are, we're just going to wait for the whole thing to be done. One time, hand us the package and then we'll vote on it. We think it's a lot cleaner, not as messy that way. So we just want to let you know it's still in the works. We haven't forgotten about Chapman Street Firehouse discussion, Commissioner Stoddard, would you like to take that one since you're probably started down there?
Yeah, we need to discuss what we want to do with it and
Right.
then make a presentation to the town council.
Right.
So-
And that's along with Station 4.
Well, yeah, the two separate entities.
Right.
So I'm not sure what. Personally, I personally think we should go for tearing it down and putting up another building and swapping the property.
Swapping the
Going through
property.
that process.
We did discuss that with Town Manager Chapman at our meeting with the radios, and there's a couple scenarios in play. One is there is monies in the budget this year for the demolition of the old firehouse. It's to take that firehouse down, give that piece of property to the housing authority, and then they have property in the back of Station 3 and do like a land swap. We have not contacted them, so we don't even know if that's in play or not. So there's still discussions about trying to get that piece next door, but I guess the guy wants, buku money for it, and it's just not good right now. Check.
Can I speak about this now or gotta wait for public?
No, you can speak about it.
Okay, well, the whole thing with Chapman Street Firehouse, over probably a year ago, I went around to all the buildings with Joe Solomon. And just to give you a background on what's been going on. We went around and we looked at that building several times and went through it. And Joe brought in a couple people, and it was a discussion between myself and him and my recommendation to the chief and to the commission that the building be demolished. It didn't seem to be feasible to rebuild that building with the amount of cost and the stuff that was in there to save it. And then kind of the fire department's or chief's words and my words kind of got twisted around because we were approached by a counselor and they said, hey, wouldn't you like us to renovate that and save the building? Well, my whole thing with tearing down the building, I made it clear with Joe Solomon that we could not tear that building down without a plan in place to have another building put up. Because we have equipment in there that can't be left outside, and it has to be in close proximity to Company 3. And the other issue is really, it's kind of a time loss when we do need that equipment. The Company 3 has to go to one station, get a piece of equipment, go around the corner to another station, hook everything up, and try to get on the road with it. So my thing was, there was never a discussion that the fire department was pro saving this building. It was words were put in our mouths because the thought was, hey, and nothing happened until the budget money was presented to knock it down. And the council got a hold of it and said, whoa, that's a historic building and we want to save it. So then they came to the fire chiefs and said, well, wouldn't you like us to fix it up? Well, we don't, either way, if you want to spend the money to fix it up and make it something that we could use and house our equipment in, that's fine. Well, our recommendation was tear it down, do a land swap and move everything to Company 3. Ultimately, I don't think putting another the land swap, the properties would be separated. It would benefit both parties, I think. For the housing authority to obtain property that abuts them and Company 3 to obtain property that abuts our property, all right. The other thing is, are we looking at putting a storage building or what we're gonna do? Company 3 is too small, the equipment is getting bigger, so Company 3 does need an expansion. It needs an expansion, it needs to be remodeled. We're holding off on some of the stuff that needs to be done down there, garage doors, other things, because we don't know what the status is. The problem is we don't have direction. And what we were told, I guess you were told in the town manager, that we need to come up with a plan. And we need to come up with an A, B, and a C.
Correct.
Plan. So with an A, B, and a C plan, well, we could come up with a plan, but really, how are we supposed to proceed if we don't know if we're gonna go with a land swap, if we're gonna spend the money to purchase property. The other thing is, how are we supposed to come up with plans if we don't have an architect on retainer? We could draw a picture and say, we want all this. We have no way of knowing pricing, engineering costs, stuff like that, unless we have some sort of a design. I mean, I know we start big and then we chisel down or do what we have to do, but somehow we have to have some kind of direction. Are we gonna purchase land? Are we gonna do a land swap? Are you not gonna build it down? They kind of put us in limbo, and we presented it to the commission, and the commission presented it to them that we needed to do all this, and I guess we're on hold because the town was gonna put architects on retainer and have some kind of a building committee, if I'm not mistaken, and this is just dragging out, and it's not going anywhere. So I talked to the chief, we have to come up with a plan, and we'll tell you exactly what we want, but how are we supposed to present anything or go to the council with pricing if we have no architect, and no design
And
of
Right.
what direction we're gonna go?
Right,
So that's where we're at with that.
right.
And do you want me to speak about company four separately?
Well, let's talk.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
finish this.
let's finish this one. So, what you brought up was very, very good points, Jack. And what we need to do as a commission is sit down with the command staff. And like you said, we have to have a plan, A, B, and C. This is what we want to do and have it all in black and white. And then us as the commission, we have to take that plan and then present it to the town council. And we're gonna have to sell the town council on it. That's what we need to do now.
So
Once we.
We probably need to schedule a meeting with you sometime in the near future to talk about, okay, A, we recommend the demolition of the building and the land swap, and that's what we think. B, we recommend that we rebuild company 3
Right.
and make it bigger and make it be, and
And see,
C-
buy the property next door. and,
right.
You know,
C
to
would be
one.
the, yeah, and that way, all those have different price tags. And we can't determine that, but we have to, make a recommendation, say, and these are the alternate, these are the other ways that we could go.
Right, and like you said, Manager Chapman did say that the town is retaining certain professional groups, architects,
Yep.
engineering groups, blah, blah, blah. And so hopefully when that's brought on board, that will definitely help us, and so
And that's
be
also been-
retained. What's that?
That's almost been a year and a half now that they've been saying that.
Yeah.
Installing.
Right.
Almost 2
Right, and they also said there's gonna be a building committee, so, let's hope within the next couple
But
months we
it's
can
up to
get
us to
this.
force the issue.
Correct.
We have to
Right.
sit down with you and the chief and come up with
The
A, B, and C,
plan,
yeah.
A, B, and C.
and write it all
And
down.
hopefully we can get, let's get that started. Go in and get it started. And now it comes to Station 4.
Okay. Well,
So you came to the right meeting, Gary.
Well, we're in the same boat with Station 4. I've had discussions with Joe Solomon. We've looked at the building. Company 4, and actually it was just brought up yesterday. So I got a phone call from Joe, wanted to know what the Owens report was stating about Company 4, the reason why we didn't do the boiler. Because the Owens report said that the boiler at Company 4 took priority in Company 5. Well, the boiler system at 5's was done, but the boiler system at 4's was not done. The reason why it was not done was because a year ago, we were talking about the expansion of Company 4, or either raising the building and putting 2 bays on the first floor and having the washroom and the office upstairs. And we don't even know if that's possible. We don't know if the footprint is big enough for that. We don't know if it would infringe on zoning laws or how it would be or how tall we could make it. We don't know if the footprint or the base of the building would sustain a second floor. And again, we need an architect or an
Correct.
engineer.
Yep.
So this is all discussions that we've had, and Joe Salomon was on the same page. And then all of a sudden, hey, you guys never told us what you wanted. Oh,
Right.
okay, well, we've been talking about this forever. I don't know if it's possible to move Company 4 to Seymour Park. I have no idea. I know there's not a huge footprint at Company 4. Me looking at it from the street, I think we could make it 2 bays on the first floor and do a second floor. But I'm not an engineer or an architect. So
Where would
I
you
don't
put
know-
your parking?
What's that? I think the size of the building, the way it is right now, if you took the building and made it square and went up,
Well,
and then you'd have enough room for 2 bays. Because if you take out all the inside of the firehouse, if you gut it, except for the roof slants on one
Right.
side, I think you have the width
For 2 bays.
for 2 bays, and I think you have the depth. Because don't forget, you have the bay area,
And then the day
and
room,
then behind it is the day room. So
mechanical
you'd be
room,
eliminating all of that, and you.
That would be
putting that
upstairs.
up on the second floor.
floor.
right?
But with that, you're also gonna have to make that either, you're gonna have to put some kind of an elevator system in.
You gotta
or
meet
some kind of-
ADA.
You have to meet ADA.
So, and I mean, it would be nice to have 2 bays and at least a bathroom downstairs, or in a small area they could do a report when they come in. But again, that's all gonna take an engineer or an architect or a designer to design this. And tests have to be done to see if we can do it. And we kind of got put in limbo.
Well,
Right.
that's the
This
same,
is-
same as company 3. We have to sit down when we have discussions and talk about, what's the best possibility for that we think should happen, and then give them alternate possibilities. And of course, all those are gonna cost money, so.
Right. But what I think, and this is just my opinion, I didn't speak to the other 2 commissioners about this. With the budget coming up, I think it's a good time that we should put some money in our budget for architectural services and
Engineering.
engineering and, see what we can do, where we can go.
From what I thought that was something that the council would do. We had appropriate money from the, like CIP, and I think it was done.
We did that, and
4-3.
go back to when Tanya was here.
And
She
it
cut
was
it.
knocked out,
She cut it twice.
right?
And then when they were doing this Owens report, they were gonna lump that all into this new
Right.
building committee, singular building committee, and they were gonna start funding, for the needs.
Well, I don't know if the
Of the
building,
town.
I don't know if this new building committee is gonna have the budget to,
No, they're not gonna have any budget.
they're not
just
gonna have any
be-
budget. They're just gonna be a building
The
committee.
town council is gonna have the budget.
Correct. Right. And so I think this year we should put some money in and because we're certainly not gonna get somebody to do everything for nothing.
So you're
And
saying
I
that
wouldn't
should be a
expect
line
it.
item in our operating budget?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll put it in there for, and if it meets the parameters for capital improvement expenditure, then we'll just have to put it in a capital improvement.
We did.
We did it under
Yeah.
capital.
Right, but it was cut.
It was
Yeah.
cut.
Multiple years it was cut, and then we finally threw in three point something million dollars.
Yep.
Yeah, just to get their attention.
Right.
Then it got cut by the time it got to, town meeting.
So, yes, we'll definitely. This is on the radar and it has to be done.
We need to, come to a consensus here and schedule,
A meeting.
several meetings.
Yep.
So to get this ball rolling, I'd like to see
Yep.
that, either before the new year or right after the new year.
no, sooner.
Sooner the better.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gotta be sooner.
Okay, that's fine with
Sooner the
me.
better. Then we can, like you said, if we do come up with a plan between now and the next couple months, we can at least put some money in for the budget to start it out. Right?
We can just put a figure in just to raise
Sure.
eyebrows.
Yeah.
Sure,
Oh,
to
yeah,
raise
yeah.
eyebrows, right?
What do you want?
It's definitely needed. Gary, we know it's needed. And we've been working on this, like you said, for quite a while.
Been a long, long time.
Yeah, and
And all we seem to do is get lip service.
we believe that the one thing that,
Stop.
no, I'm saying the one thing that we did agree on was that it was a good strategic location for Company 4. So,
Yeah.
that's one thing we did agree on. It's a good
Like I
spot
said,
for it.
the top part where the playground equipment is, that's never used, or that's used all the time. We don't need that, area, just for ball field.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on that? Check, chief?
I'll talk at public participation after.
All right. Anybody go to the police fire department golf tournament?
Yes,
And how was it?
was excellent.
Sure, it was a
It
success.
was a very much success. I wish Deputy Chief Stegmeyer had the final results as to, you know, what transpired, but I had a great time.
Good. Great. It's nice when the services get together and do something good for the community. Waterfall Fest, anybody taking care of that, Kurt?
Pretty good turnout. We had our picnic committee up at the oldie. We have truck run set up at the end of Market Square. And we got some more applications from cadets and all members.
Excellent. Keep them coming in. Thank you. Updates of tablets and transition to Apple software for department. Alpine.
So it's been fun. So we started off with the responder app. We rolled it out to the line officers. We then rolled it out to the staff. And as of Monday, 87 members of the department now have access to it. Out of the 87, 65 have enrolled. So we have 65 members now receiving the calls through that application.
Nice.
So next steps, personnel has to update the personnel records that are currently in the system. We just today got the GIS mapping files loaded. Alpine confirmed they're loaded. Tomorrow, Scott and the new director for IT, PJ and I will be talking to confirm that those files are correct, and then we can start loading documents. Our intent is to have the new system online
November 1st.
Yeah,
So they're
that's-
currently not inputting fire calls in it right now. No.
Yeah, it's taking fire calls. They're all there. It's showing we're not having any issues. We had to work through some problems.
When the guys come back from a call and they do a report, is it on Alpine now or the
We're
firehouse?
still doing firehouse until November 1st.
Till November
Hopefully they'll
1st.
cut over November 1st, pending any issue. But we will just be doing the NIFR side, so the report taking. The other pieces that still have to be done are the terminals in the firehouses, the devices in the vehicles, the fingerprint recognition devices, the monitors, and so there's a lot of other things that need to be done. There's a lot of.
Good. Good.
Systems working the way it's supposed to.
Update on firehouse and apparatus inspections.
Well, we need to schedule. I
Okay,
kind of ran out of month last month. I was sick and I was on vacation. And we scheduled it. We were supposed to go mid-September. So whatever your pleasure is, we'll
pick a date and give us a buzz and
give me a
If
date
it-
because I just have to fit it in. However.
what's good for you and we'll see if it's good for us.
Anytime Thursdays.
Are you good on Thursdays?
Thursday should.
Commissioner Stoddard, are you good on
I
Thursdays?
can make myself good.
What time is good for you guys? 6:30,
Earlier.
6,
Earlier the better.
5.
5? 5's tough for me.
5:30,
6,
6?
6 is good. Pick a date there, Jack, 6 o'clock, and we'll see if we all have it off
27.
of October.
I'm on vacation.
Are you going somewhere?
Yeah, I'll be at work.
20th. Next Thursday.
How about Thursday, November 3rd? Does that work? Thursday, November 3rd? You'll be back,
Yes.
Commissioner Stoddard?
I won't make it.
You won't make it.
I'm having surgery on the 2nd.
next Thursday works.
Next Thursday.
The
That'll be
20th?
20.
I can do the 20th.
Sure.
I'll make it work. But what time?
6 o'clock at which station?
Start here.
Okay,
6 PM, Station 1. And you'll be so kind to get that out to the captains of the companies.
If you'd like.
Yeah, I think it would be nice to let them know, give them the heads up that we're coming around. All right, so that's Thursday, the 20th. Okay. See you there, Jack. That's it for all business. New business, Fire Marshal, Emergency Management Director. Motion to allow the Fire Marshal to hold dual positions, one as the Town Fire Marshal, another as Emergency Management Manager Director. But I have a motion on this, please.
The Board of Fire Commissioners accepts the appointment by Town Manager Keith Chapman of Fire Marshal Douglas Zordan to serve as Emergency Management Director for the town of Newington while holding his current position as Fire Marshal.
Well, I have a second.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. You seconded, correct?
Yes.
Motion by. DeMayo. Okay, thank you. DJ, are you still with us?
I am,
I think the next one's yours.
yes. So at this point, with the vacancy in my office, I would like to begin the process of refilling the full-time position. The only variable is when I started, the position was actually classified as an administrative aide 2, and that's not an effective position at this point for the office. So with the commission's permission, we're looking to work with the town HR, develop a new position basically as assistant fire marshal, and move forward with that process, classify it appropriately within the town's pay structure. And then once we do that, work within our current budget to make that happen. So realistically, we're going to try to move some money from our part-time salary budget. So there should be a zero increase in the operating budget. But this particular position would be kind of a backup to me and have a little bit more of a supervisory role when it comes to things like assigning inspections. But ultimately it would be a full-time, what we're calling at this point, assistant fire marshal.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we allow the fire marshal to work with the HR department to formalize a plan and come back to us with what this is gonna look like, and confirming that it's not gonna cost the budget any money.
I will second that.
Just discussion. One thing DJ, I'd like to know, since that was pretty much a clerical position in the past with some field work, by doing it the way you want to do it now, that won't hurt your, with paperwork and stuff, with the day-to-day clerical work and stuff in your office?
No, since I started, the staff in my office have primarily done their own paperwork. So we would continue in that fashion. And I think in the future, if there was a need to have somebody come on board, that would be brought back to the commission. You know, if we needed somebody in a clerical or administrative capacity. And realistically, I think that might be an opportunity for just a part-time position. I don't think we would have a need for a full-time clerical person.
Okay, good.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. So motion on the floor and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous decision, DJ.
Thank you.
Okay. So that takes care of the agenda, except for public participation for the second and final time. Is there anybody on Zoom or anybody in the audience who'd like to talk? We'll start, Bobby.
Mine's easy. Just want to say a comment. Over the past few months, there's been a change in structure of the IT department. We have a new IT director, Scott, and since that change, we're working with the members of his organization and himself. We have gotten unbelievable support. They've been outstanding in responding to issues and following through on things that we need. They've got a lot on their plate, but nothing's perfect. I'm never going to say that. But just the fact that when we need something, they're right there and out getting this stuff done. So at least from my perspective, it's a 180-degree turnaround.
That's great news to hear.
That's good.
Awesome. Thank you. Chief.
Just so I just want to bring to your attention, as Commissioner Mayo asked me just before the meeting, there's some construction going on Maple Hill Avenue. Some of the sidewalk was removed and there's some lines painted on the ground. Well, they're actually reconstructing Maple Hill Avenue as part of that whole project for Maple Hill and Robbins. Well, they're doing the Maple Hill Avenue section now, and it's supposed to be done before winter. So the town engineer, instead of, and it also goes into, there's a whole streetscape thing going on that end of town. So in the streetscape design, it's an expansion of the parking lot at Company 5. And right now they're doing the roadway. So we brought to his attention, in the streetscape design for Company 5 was taking out the bus stop and taking out the guide wire and adding a second apron. And the reason why the sidewalk's broken up and the lines are painted, as part of the Maple Hill Avenue reconstruction, they're putting the second apron in and they're moving the bus stop and they're redesigning the apron, existing apron to match. So the parking lot's not getting done right now. They're not taking out the parking lot. They're just gonna add an apron for now. And then next year, when they start doing the streetscape, they'll do the process. So I guess there was some concerns brought to Commissioner Mayo that they were shortening the parking lot, and moving stuff around. But there is some stuff going on. We're fully aware and everything is normal.
So the bay apron is staying like it is?
It is, but they're trimming it a little bit to match the second apron. So it looks aesthetically pleasing. So we don't have one apron that's 30 feet and the other one that's 20 feet. They're gonna both be the same size.
But it won't hinder the trucks backing in to the base. Okay.
The only thing I told him, this is the reason why the parking lot, the apron is wider and it's paved over there is because the plow guys take it out. So that's why it
Yeah.
got wide. The other thing is, you might hear some rumors, Company 1 roof, we're working with facilities. The entire roof up here is falling apart. It was done in 2016 and the whole roof is showing signs of bad shingles. So I've been working with John, the new assistant facilities director, and he's been working with the chief. And he went up there, he took about, I don't know, I want to say like 200 photos. And they brought the town's carpenter up there, they removed some samples and replaced them. And they sent them back to the roofing manufacturer for, they're gonna analyze it and everything. So this whole roof, it looks like it's gonna be covered under warranty. And the roof will probably be all being redone. at company one. Secondly, I was just told today, company two's roof is gonna be totally replaced at the end of the month.
Really?
So they can put solar on it.
So they can put solar.
Gee, it seems like somebody told them they needed to replace that before they put solar on it, didn't they, Jack?
Could have done that. That's some of the stuff that's going on, in case you're wondering, there's gonna be some construction going on. I don't know, I was kind of surprised it's coming at two right away. Probably by the end of the month, they're gonna start. And
Okay,
then here, I don't know if it's gonna be before winter, but more than likely. So if everybody sees anything, that's what's going on.
Jack, one quick thing do we know who the contractor is on this deal?
This is it's all just like it was before. It went through Langdon, who was the facilities guy. Those guys are the professionals. So it's all going through John.
Building.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going over there. So, and actually it's probably gonna be the same guy who did the old firehouse is doing company too. And it seems like they did a pretty decent job over there.
Nice.
And this guy, John, is a bit easier to work with than Joe, just to say, but, and he's pretty on top of the stuff.
Okay,
That's good. Seems to be good cooperation between the two departments. Will two be stripped and
Oh, yeah,
even though it's one layer, they'll strip it?
it's architectural, so it's all taken off.
Okay, great. All right, keep us advised on Station One, because I know that, when was this done, Jack? It wasn't done 2016, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a shame.
And it was one of our company one members who went up there to clean the gutter, noticed the roof deteriorating, so you could take that.
Really? Wow. All right, thank you, Jack. Anything else under public participation? Any member like to say anything?
Commissioner, I have two things really quick.
Yes, sir, DJ.
So the easy one is, this is Fire Prevention Week, and me and my staff have been able to go out and kind of make an appearance at the different elementary schools. And I know that there's more than two people, but Jordan and Alan have been at every elementary school, and they're doing a great job trying to push kids through in the short amount of time that they have to get them, basically just exposed to the fire department. But I've seen them every day, and they're doing a heck of a job. So that was just the first thing. And secondly, regarding the Audubon fire, just so, everybody's aware, but mainly you folks, it sounds like there's going to be some sort of insurance subrogation between insurance companies. So the insured for 139, which is where the fire was, is basically saying the homeowner at this particular residence had nothing to do with the fire, and they're subrogating against what it seems to be is the homeowner's son and daughter-in-law who live in Glastonbury, because their son was the one that was working on the motorcycle in the garage. So there is a potential that, again, I don't know how this is all going to play out. I've never heard of this happening, but there is a potential that this will be, some sort of court circumstances or scenarios where my office will probably have to get involved. But just so you're aware, there's a lot of behind the scenes. I don't know if it's negotiating or demanding, but there's multiple insurance companies that are looking at this based on the significance of the fire.
Well, interesting. Thank you for.
Surprise.
Surprise. Interesting. Well, thank you for that update. Oh, is it okay if I needed to mention, I needed to mention one thing about the RFP. Can I mention that under commissioners' comments?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you all set, DJ?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's it for public participation. Last call. Okay, commissioners' remarks. Commissioner Steiner.
I'm glad to see that with the meeting that we had with the town manager and the new town manager, that we got some direction on which way we have to go with all of the projects that we've been talking about. Because I'm with you. I've been looking at these projects for years and trying to get them off the dime. And now we have a direction. We've got to come up with a plan, present the plan. And I think this commission's a commission that'll be able to do that.
Yep.
I'm glad to see the cooperation between the building department or facilities and IT. That's been a thorn in our side for years. And I do thank the town manager for moving things in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And he was at the public safety luncheon at the senior center today. And I asked him directly, you know, you're retiring. Are you going to be mentoring our new town manager? And he said, oh yeah, I'll work with him as much as he wants.
Excellent.
So he'll get some good direction from.
Good.
And I'm glad to hear that.
Good.
That's about all I have right now.
Thank you. Commissioner DeMayo.
Oh, let's see. Everything that we have discussed tonight, I think, looking at several items, I get the impression that we are finally making some decent inroads. Whether or not we're being fed a bunch of bull, I'm not quite sure yet, but I was very pleased at the meeting that we had with the town manager, and I believe him when he said that we're getting much closer to this radio dilemma. Now, unfortunately, with the state attorney's office throwing us a curveball, I'm sort of thinking about approaching our council liaison individual and our state rep and state senator to see if they can put some pressure on the attorney general to see if we can kind of move things along in a positive direction. Because I have a feeling that once the state gets involved, this is not going to be, you know, a 20-day, 30-day, or 60-day deal. This is going to drag on for a while. So I don't know if there's any way that we as a commission can push our politicians to put some pressure on them to make this happen a lot sooner. That's all I have.
I think you're just the man for that.
Well, I'm certainly going to try. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Commissioner DeMayo. The one thing I forgot to mention, but I just found it out yesterday and I didn't have time to get on the agenda. Just the FYI purposes, the RFP for the fire department billing, I talked to, what's his name?
Jeff Barron.
Jeff Barron yesterday afternoon, and it is going out October 18th to the vendors, and the bid opening, it's either the 8th or the 9th of November. So we should have that for our next commissioners meeting, and that is for the billing that the town council approved that we do. So that has moved along. I believe it's going out to 3 or 4 vendors. So we'll be looking forward for that the next month. As far as my other comments, like I said, it was a very good meeting with Keith Chapman. Just soon after we met with him, we got the word that he's going to retire December 2nd, which I wish him all the best of luck. We can do that next month.
After all, he's an old man.
Yeah.
He's my age.
So our biggest thing is, like we discussed today, to get together and come up with a plan for our space needs. And like Commissioner Stoddard said, I think this is the commission that can do it and push it forward. So we'll come up with a plan and, you know, get everybody involved with it, and then we'll have to push it and sell it to the town council. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but I think we can do it. So
I think we can move it along.
That's it. Just, once
Motion to
again,
adjourn.
let's keep our prayers for our fallen heroes and, with that, a motion to adjourn.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye,
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
guys, thanks.
8:01.
I was in work this morning. I was in work this morning when my buddy told me, "Hey, you hear what happened in Bristol?" All I could think of was Dan Perkins and Kim O'Brien. And my heart